This training video will show you how to use the new PDA application to access the information that you need. A guide will also be supplied. Only the areas that have changed will be covered, and it is assumed that you already know how to use the current PDA. We are changing the company-wide business processes to SAP. This is a major undertaking that will offer many benefits to OCS as a whole, but will be challenging during the initial period. Using MRS, a module of SAP, for scheduling will mean greater control and visibility of jobs, and improve the audit trail. Please ensure you are patient and professional in your dealings with all staff. Your work will arrive on your PDA in 1-week batches, but may be subject to changes. You will need to check your schedule for any updates day by day, rather than planning a full week's movements in advance. Team leader pre-work checks will now be completed on the PDA. These will be familiar questions from the existing paper forms, simplified to be completed on the PDA instead. Using MRS, work will be planned more accurately. As such, you should aim to follow the schedule of work on the days they are planned for you. Planning is arranged to maximize each engineer's time. Invoices are issued based on the job spec. Any changes to the job spec will need to be agreed with the office first by an authorized person from the client. To log in to the TMFS application, click on the relevant icon from the desktop. Enter your new 8-digit user ID and password and click Log On. This is the screen that you will see after you log in to your PDA and is where you will find your scheduled work. It is split into 4 tabs. W1 always represents the current week. W2, 3 and 4 represent planned work for future weeks. The week runs from Monday to Sunday. The scheduler will be alerted of any overdue jobs. These will remain in the W1 tab until they are completed or rescheduled. The job list screen shows the job status, the planned date, the SVO or job number, a description of the work, and the client. These jobs can be sorted by clicking on the column header. When you select a job, further details about that job will be shown in the Job Details section, including the Service Order Number or SVO, the address including postcode, and the type of work to be undertaken. Also on the screen is the Next Progress option and the Job Detail button to request further details about the selected job. The Job Details screen is also split into tabs. Contract Detail contains the basic information about the contract and scope of the job. In here you will find what type of work to complete, the total expected tests, pay per test, and site access hours. And then Notes contains any relevant notes. Job history can be accessed from within the Job Detail screen. 5 previous jobs will be available, with the first being the most recent. Job history will be empty initially and will accumulate from the day SAP goes live. The option to add notes is available by clicking on the Go To button on any active job and selecting the Job Notes option. On screen is an example of some job notes. The aim is to build up a clearer picture of the job history. This information is visible to your clients. As a result, anything that you put into this field should be kept professional and concise. Your managers and schedulers will also review this information. There will be an internal disciplinary process to cover anyone entering inappropriate information in this section. Click on the back button to save your notes. You can also add notes to individual items that you are testing. From the test screen, click on the Notes button and add notes to the item. There will be two options for item-specific notes, both with space for 99 characters. The Client field is for information of interest to your client. These notes will appear to the client on the Summary of Testing report. The Office field is for information of interest to OCS and forms part of the job history. From the job list, select the job that you are about to travel to, then click Start Travel. You will need to confirm this action. Click on OK. You will then be required to confirm your mode of transport: individual car, shared car, or public transportation. If any part of the journey involves travel in your own vehicle that you intend to expense back to the company, then please select one of the car options. The next option gives you a choice between abort or arrive. Arrive confirms that you have arrived on site and intend to start site inspection. Again, you will be asked to confirm if you wish to proceed. You will then be required to confirm mileage. Please enter the total mileage driven for expenses. On your final job of the day, please add the expected mileage for your journey home to the figure you input. Please also continue to fill in your paper timesheet. After you have entered the mileage, the abort option is no longer available on screen. You can still abort via an option in the Go To menu, but only after you have clicked Start Work. The next progression option is to start work. This indicates that you have signed in on site and have checked to ensure that work can commence. You will be asked if you are the team leader. If you are, a series of questions regarding health and safety will follow. If you are the only engineer in attendance, then the team leader checks are to be completed. The office will nominate a team leader should there be more than one engineer planned to attend. The final options are to choose between incomplete or end job. If you choose end job, then you will need to obtain customer sign-off. Once the form is signed, the customer must also indicate their happiness by clicking on the appropriate smiley face. Should you choose incomplete, then the work will remain on your device for you to complete on a future date. Any notes will need to be added before you choose the next action. The job status will change to I for incomplete on the job list screen. If you choose the abort option, for example if there is a barrier to work which cannot be overcome, you will need to choose the most appropriate reason from the drop-down list. If there isn't an option in the menu that is suitable, please make sure that you have entered notes first, stating the reason for the abort, then abort and choose the other option from the reason drop-down menu. If you need to add notes to explain an abort, you must first have gone past the start work stage on the job, even if you haven't actually travelled to it. On screen is a walkthrough of the actions to complete in order to progress the job and add notes. Moving the job past the start work phase will allow notes to be added. Process the abort after the notes have been updated. Abort notes should explain to the scheduler what the barrier to work is to ensure that any issues are resolved before sending a team out again. To navigate the application whilst outside of an active job, use the menu button and choose one of the options presented. To navigate the app whilst the job is in progress, use the Go To button, choosing the option required. If you are to be the only technician on site, then you are responsible for the team leader pre-site checks. A team leader will be nominated for every site with more than one engineer in attendance. This role will have a number of responsibilities, but will not necessarily be the most senior person. Those responsibilities are efficient planning of the job, liaison with the client on site and obtaining signatures, organising access to all areas, agreement with the client of a safe plan of work for all engineers on site, knowledge of all site-specific risk assessments and method statements, communicating safe working practices, risks and changes to all engineers when required, arranging and managing all required permits to work, and giving authority for work to start. There will be a series of screens for the team leader to complete. Assessment of site-specific risks and a decision on if these can be overcome or if the job cannot go ahead. If there are risks that cannot be safely overcome, then a decision to abort should be taken. You are also required to confirm if any of the engineers need to wear PPE. Any PPE will need to be recorded in job notes. Once all the questions are answered, click on Continue to proceed. Enter free text answers for the 4 site procedure questions and then continue. For location questions, confirm if a floor plan is available, any access issues, and if any permits are required, and then continue. For PAT scope and procedure questions, are there any 3-phase items? Can drawers be searched or arrangements be made to leave items out? Are there any areas or rooms that shouldn't be disturbed, such as server rooms? And then finally, for evening work, clients should be asked if they can email staff to shut down their PCs or agree they understand the implications if not. And then free text fields to show who needs to be informed of any failures or unable to tests, and then continue. When completing evening work, you will need to confirm the agreed place to leave any documentation, then continue. The client is then required to agree that as team leader you have discussed, agreed and understood a safe plan of work for all team members, and then click on Agree. The client representative will then sign and print. Only once this signature is obtained can the instruction be given to other team members to start work. You are required to capture additional information from the pre-work checks within the job notes. If any additional site-specific risks are identified, then please record these in the notes along with any measures taken and confirmation that the client risk assessment to cover it has been seen. All required PPE should also be recorded for all engineers on site. Here is an example of what those notes may look like. By updating your jobs in real time, you are also updating your timesheet, which is integral within the application. The PDA records your real-time actions to create a picture of how your time has been spent during the day. You will not have the option to manually input times, hence the need to update jobs in real time. The clock starts from when you start travel to your first job. Arrive ends your travel time. The period being measured now is your site assessment time. Once you have assessed the site, completed your health and safety checks and confirmed that the job can be started, click on the Start Work button. Once the Start Work button has been pressed, the clock is ticking on your productive time on site. End Job brings to an end your productive time on site and shows how long the job actually took to complete. A summary of your timesheet can be accessed via the menu button, selecting Summary Time Booking option. Totals will be displayed for travel time, work time, return travel time and break time. All breaks, meetings and training need to be recorded in real time. Click on the Go To button and then start your break time by clicking on the Break option. Clicking on the Break option starts the break. Select the type of break that you are taking and then when you are ready to restart your work, click on the Resume button. A new feature of the application is the capture of return travel time, which captures your journey to your base destination after your last job. If you have completed your last job and intend to travel back to your base, click Yes. Again, the stages of the journey are to be completed in real time. You'll need to click Start Return and Arrive Home in real time. These times will be confirmed on the screen. Click on Submit Time Booking and Submit in order to complete the process. High-value item tracking is a service offered to clients who require information recording on selected items, confirming it is in place and in good condition. High-value items will need to be selected in contract characteristics in order to be able to record them. As this service develops, you may be required to add notes about the item, in addition to recording the standard information of asset number, manufacturer, model number and serial number. When high-value items are included in the contract, a tick box will be available on the item test screen. For any high-value items, tick the box and then complete your test as normal. For high-value items that do not require PAT testing, choose the non-PAT option from the drop-down list. If emergency lighting testing is required, then this will be as a separate job on your PDA, even if it is carried out at the same location as other PAT testing. For each emergency lighting test, you will need to confirm the lamp ID or position, and also the test type, whether function, 1 hour or 3 hour. The total option is not to be used and will be removed on the next update. Non-mandatory questions are to confirm the lamp fitting or description and the key switch or isolator reference. For the test, record a pass or fail and confirm if the reset LED is not visible, on or off. You also have the option to record notes for each item. Occasionally your device will lose signal and your PDA updates will not be received back in the office. These updates are stored on the device. You are responsible for checking the device has sent all of its data, especially at the end of your working day. To check, click on the menu button, selecting the Admin option, and then choose Synchronize Status. Any outstanding updates will be displayed in the log. If this section is clear, then there are no updates to send from the device. If there are any outstanding updates, click on the Back button, and then click Update Data. Then return to the Synchronize Status screen to check if the updates have cleared. If you experience difficulty, please contact IT support.